Hi there. In this video, we'll be covering what legacy will you leave? As someone who's helped lots of people secure and build their legacies, I know how powerful it can be when you accomplish this goal. By the end of this video, you will learn the deep sense of purpose, the power of passing along our lessons, and stay tuned until the end of the video for some important tips to help you on your journey. Let's dive in. What legacy will you leave? It's something that each of us grapples with throughout our lives. What are we going to leave behind? What kind of feeling will people have when they think of us? I think about that when we leave a job, when we leave a career, when we move away. So thinking about that in terms of our lives is a heavy thing, but it's an important thing. It's something that drives all of us. It's something that we care about. What kind of legacy will we leave behind? And we have the chance, as we grapple with these topics, to leave a powerful legacy, to leave a legacy that lasts far beyond us, to leave something that's going to last and continue forward and build and grow into something that we could have never even imagined. Legacy isn't about wealth or fame. It's about something deeper. It's about positive change. It's about giving back to the world. When we think about legacy, it's intertwined with being able to pass along lessons. It's great to be able to pass along lessons to our children, grandchildren, other children that are in our family, friends. Being able to pass along lessons and share them with people who can learn from them is such a valuable process. I think of the lessons that I've learned from the people who came before me. It's such an awesome thing to be able to hear how things were, to gain insights from people who've traveled across these boundaries, who've succeeded and failed and struggled and picked themselves up and found a way. I think it's so important when we can learn from people who've done these things. I think about the Theodore Roosevelt speech, The Man in the Arena, and I think it's in those terms of, we want to learn from people who've done it, who've tried, who've gone for it, and maybe they succeeded, maybe they failed, but they went for it and they learned from it. I've always found so much value in lessons of struggle and frustration and disappointment and things not going right, because so often they don't. But being able to learn from those lessons makes us better at striving for greatness ourselves. Building a legacy requires deep, deep reflection, really deep reflection. It really requires you to unpack all of the pieces of your life and see how they all fit together, to see the overlying themes. It's about the way you make people feel. I think about one of my book clients. His name is Rich, and he was very successful in business. He spent a long time with a lot of different business ventures, and he was great at it. And that wasn't what he wanted to be remembered for and known for. It was something deeper for him. It was something in his family. And he and I worked together with another writer to bring his story forward. And it was great to see him bring that legacy, bring that message to other people. And he was really aware of that as we began working together. This was something deep and profound for him, that he had gone through this identity crisis and come out the other side a better person, a more complete person, filled with gratitude. And he wanted to share that. And he wanted to share his family's story. And, working with him over the course of a year or two, we were able to bring that book forward. And it was such an awesome thing to see the weight lifted for him, because at the beginning of the process, he had this goal, but it was big. It was difficult. It was, arduous. And to be able to see it come together, it was such an awesome thing. I could feel the weight lifting off of him as he spoke to us. It was just great to see that. Great to see him aligned with his purpose, bringing this story forward and sharing it so other people can learn from it. It taught me a lot. It taught me a lot about really what a legacy means. What does a legacy mean, and how do we carry that forward? I think each of us has to understand that and ask ourselves that and make sense of it. When I think about what it means to build a legacy, I think about the actor Paul Newman. He was so successful and such a good actor. He was amazing. Cool Hand Luke, The Sting, Road to Perdition. Amazing movies. He put out a career of amazing movies. If you have young children or grandchildren, he was the voice in one of the Cars, the animated movies. He had this huge career, this massive career And acting wasn't his legacy. It was charity and giving back and helping people. With Newman's Own, you see the salad dressing on the store shelves. He also helped to organize charities for children to help them. That's such an awesome thing. I think it's great to see somebody who had every trapping of fame and success and financial security and wanted to give back in such a profound and deep way. That's a legacy, and that's a legacy that has long surpassed, carried forward from his life. It's going to continue to carry forward. When we talk about building a legacy, that's what I think of. I think of Paul Newman, and I think of Newman's Own salad dressing and him being able to, through this process, help children and give back to tons and tons of people. Earlier I talked about my friend and colleague Rich and the book that he wrote. I think writing a book is such an important, impactful way to cement a legacy. Writing books is forever. Writing books is something that can carry forward for generations. You think about the books that are in existence today that were written hundreds, if not thousands of years ago. There's so many impactful books that just transcend time. They're timeless. And you have the chance, you have the power to write that kind of book, to have that kind of legacy, and to impact future generations of people through the written word. It's been so empowering for me as a book ghostwriter to help people bring their stories forward and to document and to detail and to secure those stories for the future. One of my clients, he was very successful in business, similarly to Rich, and he wanted to write a legacy project for his children. And it was such a powerful thing to work with him. He wasn't interested in publishing the book publicly. He wanted to pass along a story for his children and grandchildren. That was it. And we worked together for a couple months, and it was a neat little book. It wasn't a huge, huge, huge thing, but it meant so much to him to build that legacy, to cement that legacy, and to document these stories. Because, once he was gone, those stories go with him. But now those stories continue forward. They're timeless, and they can carry forward through generations of the family. Another of the people I worked with on a book named Jonathan, his book was all about purpose, and purpose in business, aligning your purpose with your bigger goals. And it was so inspiring for me to work with him. We only worked together for a month or two. He was guiding the writing on that project, and I was just kind of steering him along and giving him tips. But seeing purpose come through, it inspired me. It inspired me to dig deeper within myself. And I love that, and I feel like with that kind of project, if it's inspiring me, it's going to inspire the people who read it too. I love the fact that he could visualize and understand what he wanted to say and put those words down and just celebrate them. And, I see the reviews so far. The book has come out and I see the reviews so far, and they're so powerful. To see other people picking up on that purpose, to see them aligning purpose in their life, to see them driving forward. Another of my friends, Bonnie, she has dealt with chronic pain, and she wanted to share with people the lessons that she learned from dealing with chronic pain to help them better deal with chronic pain. And she's, put together YouTube videos and does interviews and speeches. And it's just awesome to see. She's building such a great legacy and sharing this message widely and helping people. And she's actually shared some of the messages with me of people who've reached out to her saying, your book changed my life, your book has helped me, your book has done this and this and this. How awesome. It's awesome to be able to give back like that and help people. And you could have that kind of message inside of you too. Maybe it's not chronic pain, maybe it's not about purpose and work, maybe it's something else, but you do have a story within you, and it's great to be able to bring that forward and to carry that legacy forward and to give back and help people, because that impact could continue on and continue on and continue on just because you put out a book and just because you put yourself out there and just because you shared the message to help others. It's just a great thing, and it's a special thing. If you want to learn more about the legacy you will leave, I want you to check out a different video of mine. It's called How to Turn Your Story into a Book. That video really dives deep into the main message of your story and some of my biggest keys for writing a good book. So click the link and be sure to check out that video. Remember, a good book can change your life. I'm Dan Good. Thanks for watching.